Coming up on Lindenwood News, a shooting at Ameristar leaves one in critical condition. Police tell us how a Good Samaritan was at the right place at the right time.
Plus, a Vietnam-era bomb found 51 years later. We will tell you where they found it.
And Hurricane Helene slams western North Carolina. We will give you the latest details on the storm.
Those stories and more ahead on Lindenwood News.
Welcome to this edition of Lindenwood News. I'm Craig Eddy.
And I'm Elizabeth Boaz.
A 27-year-old woman is shot in the neck at the Ameristar Casino early Saturday morning. Police say the shooting happened around 2:30 at the second level of the casino's parking garage. Police say the woman told them that the person who shot her is her 50-year-old boyfriend, Calvin Kong. Prior to police getting to the scene, two bystanders helped the woman until paramedics arrived. One of them, Diane Lewis, says she was a Navy medic for 8 years. She says the woman ran up to her covered in blood.
Blood was running down her neck, down her, everywhere, and so put pressure on her neck. And Alan, he looking around like, okay, you just got shot, and there's a shooter around here, so he's going into defense mode, looking around like, who's out here?
Police have not released the woman's name. She is in critical condition. Investigators arrested her boyfriend at the scene.
Police are issuing an arrest warrant in connection with a St. Charles County gas station shooting. Police say the shooting happened right before 11:30 Saturday night. Surveillance footage shows the suspect, who police identified as Rashaw Galloway, walking towards a car at a pump before shooting the victim. Police and U.S. Marshal Service are searching for Galloway. No other information or video has been released.
School shooting threats in Missouri are continuing to rise since July. Officials think it's because the Georgia shooting earlier this year. The Missouri State Highway Patrol Courage to Report hotline has received over 120 school shooting threats, and that's only since July of this year. Officials are asking family and students to stop spreading the messages and screenshots of the threats because it makes it harder for them to find the source. Instead, police are asking the public to take a screenshot and report the threats to the Courage Report hotline.
A sheriff in Letcher County, Kentucky is accused of killing a judge. Police say that 43-year-old Sean Steins is charged with first-degree murder after shooting the district judge, Kevin Mullins. Police are accusing Steins of shooting Mullins several times after an argument. Steins' lawyer says he is retiring from his position as sheriff. He is facing 20 years in prison or even the death penalty if convicted.
Straight ahead on Lindenwood News, Asheville is hit hard by Helene as they try to struggle to stay afloat. We will give you the latest on the storm.
A bomb destined for Vietnam was found 51 years after the war. The bomb was dug up by a construction crew on the corner of Poker Lane and Antelope North Road. According to the president of Citrus Heights Historical Society, the bomb was most likely from a boxed car crash that in 1973 was carrying the munitions. The bomb has been recovered and disposed of safely.
Country music superstar and A-list Hollywood actor Chris Christopherson has died. He was 88. A family spokesperson says the singer-songwriter died peacefully in his home in Maui, surrounded by his family. No cause of death was given. Christopherson was revered by country fans and music fans all over the world. He wrote the song Janis Joplin made popular, Me and Bobby McGee. He also starred in the movie A Star is Born with Barbra Streisand and with Wesley Snipes in Blade.
Former President Jimmy Carter turned 100. President Carter was sworn in 1977. He will be the first president in U.S. history to live for a century. Carter's hometown in Plains, Georgia having a number of events to celebrate, like a flyover of military jets and a concert. Carter's family members say his birthday wish is to vote in the upcoming election.
Western North Carolina is hit hard by Hurricane Helene. Locals think the government didn't prepare for the storm and wish there had been more urgent warning to evacuate. Lines are long for gas, more than 300 roads are shut down, and water lines are broken. Almost 200 people are dead and dozens of people are missing. FEMA says they have about 1,200 agents on the ground trying to get people to safety.
Coming up next, we're in for some wet weather. We'll tell you when and where. Stay with us for the full forecast. Let's start with our national map. There are rainstorms coming in from Canada heading towards the west coast, where we have severe rainstorms in Oregon and flash floods in the Midwest. Then tons of cold weather coming from states like Montana and North Dakota with low pressure following in. Now for our local map, in St. Charles and Maryland Heights, it will be a high of 80, and for St. Louis, a high of 79. For O'Fallon and St. Peter's, it will both be a high of 80 degrees. Now with our 5-day forecast, on Thursday, we have a high of 80 and a low of 52. On Friday will be a high 79 with a low of 57. On Saturday, a high of 82 with a low of 57. On Sunday, it will be a high of 78 with a low of 59. And finally, on Monday, there will be a high of 70 and a low of 50. That's all for the weather. Now to Emma with sports.
The Lindenwood Lions secured their first conference win. More details coming up after the break. Welcome to sports. I'm Emma Hickerson. The MLB legend Pete Rose dies at the age of 83. Many know Rose as a well-rounded player who had several accomplishments in his career. He played for 3 MLB teams, but most famously played for the Cincinnati Reds. For the Reds, he played 19 seasons and had an MLB record of 4,256. No cause of death has been released. Lindenwood football gets their first conference win of the season against Eastern Illinois University. Eastern Illinois took a commanding lead by the end of the second quarter, going up 17-0. The Lions eventually found their stride on an 11-yard pop pass from Nate Glantz to Jeff Codwell. Lindenwood carried that momentum, scoring again in 34 seconds. In 2 plays, the final score was 28-25, setting Lindenwood up for a good season, going into their next game against Tennessee State. John Mozeliak is giving up his presidency of the St. Louis Cardinals after the 2025 season. He was with the team for nearly 3 decades. Cardinals say that the Chaim Bloom will be taking over that following year. Team exclusives say Bloom signed a 5-year deal for this new role. They also say that they're excited for the team's reset with Bloom. Back to you, Elizabeth.
And finally, St. Charles Oktoberfest is underway. People from all over, including Lindenwood students, are flooding Main Street to celebrate German culture, music, food, and of course beer. The event takes place every year on Main Street in St. Charles. The event has a nearly 40-year history. Here's what City Councilman Justin Faust thinks.
There's no other place where we want to hold this event. There's no better backdrop of the river and being a historic downtown St. Charles.
Several events take place within Oktoberfest, including the Wiener Takes All dog race, a brat eating contest, a 5K and a 10K, and an antique car show.
That's it for this edition of Lindenwood News. I'm Greg Eddy.
And I'm Elizabeth Boaz. Thanks for joining us.